Hey, I'm David.
And I'm Carol.
And we're loving the real world. Carol had an accident around Thanksgiving. She had to have surgery last month, and she's been stuck in this boot since December. And after she had surgery, the only way she could get around, she could not put any weight on it at all, was by a wheelchair. So we had built her the ramp, and that worked great, getting her in and out of the house. Actually worked better than we thought it would. Then she got better to a, what's it called?
A walker.
Yeah, she used a walker around the house. So we lost doors in the house because the walker and the wheelchairs didn't make it around. So now I promised that we would do more videos. Only problem is I kind of been busy with laundry and stuff like that, cooking and cleaning, and my work decided I needed to come in the office 5 days a week starting last week, so it just made everything real easy. So we really hadn't had a whole lot coming to you, and we're going to do better on that. And this is one of those videos that we're going to do something a little different.
Yeah, fortunately at this point in time I am able to walk around with just the boot, and so but we haven't been able to get out and about. So today I'm going to show you how to make an Easter card using the Cricut, and I hope you enjoy a little variety in our life.
And since our channel is DIY and anything else with a little travel in there, we hope you enjoyed this.
Okay, so we're going to create an Easter card in Cricut Design Space, and all the elements that I'm using are free. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to Images, and we're going to search for card. And I like to use the filters over here, and I'm going to click Free. And then I scroll down and find the card that I want. Click on it, and then I add to canvas. Okay, so now we need to resize it to the size that we want. And you can do that by, just toggling out and in, or if you know the size that you want it, you can just come up here to the width and height and change it to the size that you want. I know that I want this one to be 5 inches high. That way I can get 2 cards on the same mat. And I want to change the color, so I click up here in the little color area, and I'm going to change it to a different green. And now I'm going to go back to Images, and this time I'm going to search for lace. And add it to canvas. Okay, and then I'm going to resize it so that it fits over this section of card. Okay, and I want to change the color of this as well. And I'm going to click on white, but then I want it cutting by itself. So I'm going to go into the advanced and just do a slightly off white. And again, the colors don't really matter because you're going to be adding them to the mat, but our insert for our card is also going to be white, and I don't want those two cutting at the same time. All right, next I'm going to go over to my shapes, and I'm going to choose an oval. Okay, and the oval's going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to go over to Rotate, and I'm going to rotate the oval. All right, so then I'm going to bring it over on top of the lace. And I want a lot of the lace part showing, so I'm going to make my oval a little smaller. You know, there's a lot of the lace showing behind it. I want to change the color of it, a white that has a little shimmer to it. So I'm just going to make it gray. Okay. I go back to images, and this time I'm going to search for cross. Click on it, add to canvas. All right, and then I'm going to put it over my oval and pull it down to size. Oh, and I'm going to change the color of my cross. It's going to be gold. So, and the last thing I want to do is put a greeting here at the bottom. So I'm going to shapes. I'll choose the rectangle. Okay, and I'm just going to move it over here. And I'm going to make it yellow, but different from the cross. Okay, so then I want to add text to the rectangle. So I click on text, and I'm going to type in Easter blessing. Okay. I know I need the font to be smaller, so I'm not going to just change this to 25 just to get it smaller, and then we can adjust it as needed. Okay, so I need to change the size of my rectangle. So I can go up here. I know that I want it to be thinner, so I'm going to click the unlock box so that we can change it and make it a little thinner as necessary. And then I'm going to bring my sides in. And then the text, I need up here, if you'll notice the operation, it says basic cut. Well, I don't want it cutting all those letters out. So I click the drop down and I click on pen. Okay. And I want it to write it on this rectangle. So I get both the rectangle and the words. And I come down and attach it. That way the Cricut machine knows that these two pieces need to go together. All right, so I can put it over here. And I think that looks good. So that's the front of our card. Now let's do the inside of the card. We go back to images. We're searching for card again to get an insert. And notice each time I've come back, it has kept my filter that I've wanted. I could always clear it if I wanted to look for somewhere else, say I didn't find something, but it's always there. So I'm going to go down and find an insert for our card.
Teddy, leave Carol alone. She's giving a class.
Okay. I click on it and I add to canvas. Okay. All right, this label actually has what we call an offset, which is right over here. And I want to ungroup this because if I don't ungroup it, when I cut it out, it's going to just cut that little piece around the outside. And I don't want that. So I want to ungroup it. And now I can still move those together over to my card and resize it. Okay. So that I have them the right size. Okay, then I want to click on the purple and change the color of it to white, or whatever color you would prefer. I click on the red label and I want to change it to purple. All right. Now I need 2 of these for the insert of my card. So I'm going to click on both by using my Shift key. And then I'm going to, where it says a little plus, I'm going to duplicate so that I have 2 of those. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, on this side of the card, I'm going to add some lilies. So I'll go back to Images, and I type in lilies. Click on it, add to canvas. All right, now, if you look once again in this operation menu, it says basic cut, and I don't want it to cut out. So I click on the drop down, I change it to pen. And now I can resize it. All right, and I duplicate it 2 more times and add those in. Now I want it to draw it on this white card, so I'm going to click on the purple. I want to get it out of the way because like I said, I don't want to end up connecting those together. And then I'm going to select my insert and those lilies, and I click attach to put those together. Now I'm going to go ahead and move the white off of this one. And on this one, I'm going to put a text. So I click text, and I type in, he is risen. All right. Once again, if I come up here, you see it says cut. So I use the drop-down menu, and I change that to pen. And now I can bring it and resize it. All right, and now I click the insert. Whoops. Another thing that we can do as well is I can grab that insert and that writing. I can come over here to where it says align, and I can align it in different directions. In this case, I'm going to tell it to center. While they're all still clicked together, I want to do attach so that those are also together. All right, so that finishes up the inside of our card, and now I'm ready to make it. I need to select the correct machine. I have an Explorer Air and a Maker 3, so I want to cut this on my Maker 3, so I need to make sure that I change it there. Another thing you may want to do before going forward is you may want to save it so that you don't have to do all of this over again. So I go to Make It. I'm cutting it on mat and 12 by 12, and I confirm that. Now, say I wanted to make a dozen cards at a time. I could type that in here, click Apply, and it will do that and sort it out so that I have enough for 12 cards. And you may want to go and look and see, okay, is there anywhere I could fit another one in? Sometimes there is. But in this case, I don't think we have anywhere that we can change, okay? All right, let me show you another way that we could also do this. So I'm going to cancel. Okay, so I figured out from going back and forth that I did 10 cards at one time. So this gave me 30 Easter blessings, because I know that I'm going to make more later on. And that would fill up a page so that I had it, or the most I could get on a page. And the crosses, I could do 4 of them times 10, so 40 crosses on a page. The ovals, I could get 20 on a page. So I did this so that I could get more onto a page and fill it up. That way I didn't have to cut out crosses each time. So that's 2 ways of doing it. All right, so let's go back and make it. All right, and I'm going to continue. Now for most of my things today, I'm just going to use medium cardstock, but I do want to have more pressure. The only one that's different is this lace. It's going to need to be for an intricate cut. And because my paper is a light cardstock, I'm going to leave it at the default setting on it. All right, so let's go ahead and make it, and I'll see you when you're ready to put it together. All right, so we're ready to load our first piece. This time I wanted to show you this one was cut on my Explorer. And so, again, I'm doing it upside down and pulling it off. You can see that a lot of the pieces are left on there. All right, and so then I'll need to weed out those other spaces. This time when I cut it on my Maker 3, I used intricate cut, but then I used the default pressure, and it seemed to do a lot better. Before, when I did more pressure, it wanted to eat away at the cardstock, and this is not a real thick cardstock, so. And you see I'm having to kind of pull that away more so than I did with the Explorer, and I have big spaces to weed, whereas with the Explorer I don't have as many big spaces to weed. Now you've got all these little pieces that are left on here. You can use your scraper tool to scrape those off. Just like that. All right, so let's go do some weeding and then make our card. All right, so that's all weeded, done. So this is something you may want to take into consideration. If you're doing a lot, you might want to choose a different background if you don't like doing the weeding. I do mine over a piece of parchment paper, and that way it makes it easy, you know, to clean up afterwards. This has become one of my favorite paper collections. It's LeBlanc stack, and it has, that's what not only this lace piece came from, but also our oval is from this collection as well. Another thing that you may want to do just to kind of accent it is to go around the oval with gold, just to have it stand out a little more. So just putting a line of gold around the edge. So I like to do the inside of my card first. So we're going to need to glue our two things into our, and you can either use glue or you can just use the tape, rolling tape, to sit these down. The one advantage of the glue, you can move it around a little if you don't get it exactly right. With a tape, once it goes down, it's down. So, and we'll just, that, as you can see, mine is not exactly right. So, trying. Oh well. I think with this one I'll use the glue instead. It does give you a little flexibility. And I really like this. It's called Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, and it does have this nice precision head on it. It does have another one that comes in the kit that isn't as precise. So, you know, if you had, but I tend to use that precision head all the time. So it's a very good glue. Alright, so that's the inside done. Okay, and so let's do the outside. Okay, so first is our little lace piece, and that's where this glue comes in handy because you've got only these little small places that you can dab some glue, and I like to, and well, probably as you're doing it, it's funny, I think these pop up, you think you've got all of them, and you find you've missed one. These little diamonds or triangles that are cut are hard to see. Okay. Our lace on our card. I'm leaving space at the bottom for our greeting. All right. So now the one thing you need to consider is, your thickness when mailing it, because it will obviously cost more for a thicker card. Okay. Again, the cross is kind of thin, so it makes it handy to have a precision glue. And we have our little Easter greeting. I've done several different color types. You see this one, what's called the offset is larger, whereas this one was small. I also did one in purple, which I think turned out nice. And I think I like the darker green better as well. And then you see on the inside of the purple one. And on this one, I didn't use the offset, but I did color in the flower center, so you may want to do that as well. So those are some different options for your Easter card. So I hope you have fun making these and sending them out. It certainly is a good project to use scraps that you may have laying around. So if you're already a subscriber, we want to thank you for subscribing, because it means a lot to us to have you as a part of our family.
Yeah, but if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button too, if you like this type of stuff, and also hit the notification button. It'll send you a little message when something new comes out. With that being said, we hope you are loving the real world too. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.